This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good morning everyone. We continue in Mishna Berura, Yomi. We're up to Siman Taf Ayin. Hey, we're in the middle of Sif Aleph. The Mechaber said, you eat the marar v'yoichlenu b'lo haseba. You should eat the marar without leaning. It says Mishna Berura, Sivkatin Yadad, Shuzeichel Avdos, it's in memory of slavery and Mikamakim, and therefore it's not proper to show Cheros by leaning Mikamakim and Reitzalech b'asei brasha. If you want to lean, you're allowed to. The Mechaber continues, V'achakach noito matzah shlishis, then you take the third matzah, uvoitzea mimeno, and you break from it, v'karcha im amar, you wrap it with the marar, v'toivel b'charoisis, and you dip it in charoisis, says the Mishna Berura, v'karcha im amar, v'tzarech kazayis matzah, v'kazayis marar. Now you need a kazayis of matzah, and a kazayis of marar, v'tam kri chazu, the reason for this wrapping, kedei lotzes das hillel, in order to be yotzei the sheet of hillel, the svirle dekra, he holds that the pasuk of the al matzah, samar mechlu, b'hadei hadodi mashma, that implies you eat them together. So why can't we just kill two birds with one stone? By eating them together. Even Hillel would agree you can't do it. Since nowadays Mar is Drabanan, so nowadays the tam of Mara, which is only Drabanan, will be mevatel the tam of matzah, which is Daraisa. Therefore, initially you eat each one by itself, and then you eat the two of them together, in order to make a memorial for the time that the mikdash stood. And they brought the Pesach, and they did eat it together. So just like back then, they would eat them together, because then that's how you be yotzei the mitzvah. So that's what we do nowadays. Okay, we continue in the Mechaber said, and you dip the matzah mar in charoises sharei krichazu zechel mikdash kehilel. This wrapping is in memory of what they did in times of the mikdash. V'hilel hayu mekayim mitzvahs charoises b'marzah shebekricha. Hillel was mekayim the mitzvah of charoises with the maror in the wrapping. Sharei lo hayu oichal mar klal kodim krichazu. They would not eat maror separately before the wrapping. V'gam b'zeh tzarich l'nar charoises k'may b'mar shachal mikoydem. Here too you wipe off the maror. Says Rama, some say you don't have to dip it, and that's what we find in the minhagim, and I've seen this as the minhag. The reasoning of the Rama, you're ready mekayim the mitzvah of charoises, the gamein lachush le'eresh shabamar. You also don't have to worry about the poison in the mar, since you're eating together with matzah. Look in the Achronim at their maskim, the ikr is like shita samachaber, mikol makom heichad nog. Nevertheless, where the minhag is not to dip it, don't dip it. Says the Mechaber, va'omer zecher lemikdash kehilel, and you say in memory of the mikdash like Hillel, va'omer ayin bir halacha. The bir halacha wants to know that this amira lachar is a hefsek between the bracha and the kricha. And he says it's doichik to say this amira is me'inyan hasuda. And I have not found any posek who says this lashon of the Mechaber. They just say this kricha is zeicher lemikdash, but they don't say that you should say it. So it could be the Mechaber when he says va'omer is lav davka. It means you have to begin to eat it and then you say this statement. It says the Bir Halacha, if I would not be afraid, I would say that you need to say in the Mechaber, you dip it in charoises zeicher lemikdash, like the lashon of Shas, and this lashon of va'omer is lav dafka that you should say it. Va'oichlam biyachad b'haseba, you eat it all together b'haseba, says the Mishna Berura. Va'omer kehilel v'hanuscha atzleinu ba'agada kein asa hillel b'zman shbeis mikdash kayim. Haya koreich matzah umar va'oichlam biyachad. V'yesh kosh dach loimer haya koreich pesach matzah umar. In other words, the Mechaber says you say Zeichel Mikdash Kehilel. The Nusach in Haggadah is Kein Asa Hillel. I believe our Nusach is we say both Zeichel Mikdash Kein Asa Hillel. And some say you should say Hayakarech Pesach Matzah Umara. The Shulchan Aruch Rav says the minhag is not to say Pesach. However, it is the opinion of the Taz and the Choik Yaakov L'char to say it. Va'oichla miyachad ayin le'el sif katan tesh shekasamnu she'en tzarich levlaya biyachad. You don't have to swallow it together. Rak lachnisam v'fiyah basachas. You just put in your mouth at one time. V'huad din hacha. So too over here. So, like we said by matzah, it applies by koreich as well. Says the mechaber, u'misha berach al achilas matzah. Once you make the bracha of al achilas matzah, lo yasiach b'davar she'en mitnyan hasuda. You're not allowed to interrupt something that's not relevant to the suda ad sheyochal kricha zoi, until you eat this kricha. Kedei shetala berachas achilas matzah, so that the bracha of achilas matzah goes on. Uberachas achilas matzah marar gam lekricha zo. Says the Mishna Berura, beheseba misha matzah she'ochel. You lean because of the matzah, even though there's marar with it. Kedei shetala ratzon elemer da oisin anu zeichel hamikdash. We're making a memory of the mikdash. Va'az haya ikar mitzvah rak b'kricha, and then the ikar mitzvah was eating them together. L'chein tzarich shalei lahavsik. Therefore, you need not to interrupt. Kedei shetachal bracha ala kricha, so that the bracha goes on the wrapping. Mikal makom ein ze ela l'chadchila. Nevertheless, this is only l'chadchila v'diavad. B'diavad emsach bein time. If you spoke eino tzarich lachzil v'arach ala kricha, you don't have to go back and make a bracha. Says the mechaber sif beis im ein lo yirakas atiba rishon ela marar. If the only vegetable you have for the first dipping is marar and not karpas, then yivarich alav b'tibo rishon bori pri hadama. Then by the first dipping you make a hadama and v'ala achilas marar and achilas marar v'tibo sheni. And by the second dipping yitbalenu b'charoises, you dip it in charoises v'yechlenu b'loy bracha. So you can eat marar twice. The first time you can make hadama and achilas marar, and the second time you're going to dip it in charoises without a bracha. Says the Mishna Berura, im ein lo yirakas l'chadchila tzarich liyos karpas mimin she'enu mimachameshes minei marar. L'chadchila, karpas needs to be one of the 5 species that's not one of the 5 species of marar. It needs to be a vegetable that's not one of the 5 species of marar. Like we said earlier in Siman Tafayin Gimel, Mishna Berura Sivkatan Chaf. V'yal achilas marar, di'i efsher b'zeh linoig k'moi b'shar pa'amim. You can't be noyeg like you typically do. Lecha b'li bracha ulevarich al achilas marar achar kazayis matzah. In other words, if you only have marar, you're going to make a bracha of bar pri adama and achilas marar, because you can't be noyeg like you do other times to eat and to eat it the first time without al achilas marar, and to make al achilas marar after the kazayis matzah. Because after you've already filled up on the marar, koydem lachen b'li bracha. Once you've already eaten maror without a bracha, it's not proper to make that bracha after. Aken yivarach b'schila. Therefore, make the bracha originally. Al chilas maror va'oichel mena ma'at l'shem karpas. Eat a little for the sake of karpas. Ve'eni yachalecha l'shem mitzvas maror. You're not allowed to eat it for maror. The chadchila be'ina matzah v'hadar maror, because the chadchila you need to eat the matzah first. Kedachsiv al matzah isum roirem. And that's the order of the pasuk. Mikol makom habracha ina levatala. Nevertheless, it's not a bracha levatala. Even though you're only eating a little bit, you're making it in order to later eat the marar after the matzah. The Haggadah is not a hefsek, as long as you don't interrupt with other matters. Okay, Bez Hashem, we will continue with the end of Sif Beis next week. Wishing everyone Agun Shabbos.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.